I'm going to begin this first post by inserting a video here that I recorded on March the 12th of this year.
In the months leading up to me running the Walt Disney World Half Marathon in January of 2013, I started a video diary where I would record how I felt during my runs and just, the emotions I felt, or, if I had aches and pains and just different things like that, that way I could remember them later on. And I had planned to share them on YouTube as a video blog or something. Well, I ended up not doing that, and I was at home the other night and I thought, I wonder if those are still on my computer, if I had, taken them off and putting them on a disc. Well, I got to looking on my computer and they were still on there. So I sat there and I watched a few of them. I didn't watch all of them, but I watched some of them. And a couple of them that I watched, it was just amazing to me how far I had come in just those, 2.5 years. One of the ones I had watched was I had made a comment about me being glad that the weather was nice that day because I'd gotten to run outside instead of going to the treadmill, and that day had been a 5-mile run, and I'd said that I was glad that I could do it outside because there was no way that I could run 5 miles on a treadmill. Well, just 2.5 weeks ago, I ran 9.5 miles on a treadmill. I've never been a natural runner. I've never been super athletic. I mean, I've always been just kind of mediocre at athletic type things. I've always wished I was a runner, and I've always wished I was good at those things, but I never have been. So I feel like I have so much to offer someone who is struggling through those things, thinking that they can never accomplish them. But I'm living proof that you can, because I went from not being a runner at all and wishing that I was, to having ran a half marathon, having ran a 10-mile race. Now I'm preparing for my second half marathon. And I just feel like I can tell people that if you stick with it and you keep it up, that you can do it. You may not be the fastest, because I will never be the fastest. I will probably never win a race. But at the same time, I just stick to it. And I know that I can finish, and I can finish strong, and I can, set a speed goal or set a time goal, and know that if I keep working at it, that I'll eventually be able to accomplish it. And everyone can do that. Even if you say now that I'm not a runner, I could never do that. Well, I said that 3 years ago, that I'm not a runner, there's no way I can do that. But, it's just I've worked towards it, and I've built towards it, and I've made it to where I'm at now. And like I said, I'm still not the fastest runner. I still have days where I have to make myself put on my tennis shoes and go out and run. But when I finished, I'm glad that I did, because I got that sense of pride and accomplishment that I did something that I didn't think that I could do. So that being said, I'm going to start trying to record more videos, and just to let everyone out there know that you don't have to run a 6-minute mile to be able to get in shape and accomplish those goals. If you run a 10-minute mile or a 15-minute mile, that's still a mile. Distance is distance, and you've done something that you may not have ever thought you could do, and you get that sense of pride and accomplishment, and that can mean the world.
Okay, there's the video. Like I said, that was on March the 12th. A day and a half later, my life changed dramatically. On March the 14th, I had a stroke. I'd had to work that Saturday morning. To make a long story short, I woke up, tried to stand up a couple of times, fell back on my bed. I managed to get up and get dressed, and I tried to go on to work, but I ended up not staying. I was taken to Erlanger in Chattanooga, where I spent 2.5 days. Like I said, they did find out that I had had a stroke, and at 33, that's not something that you expect to be told. So it kind of puts everything in a whole new perspective for you. I've never lived my life one like you're guaranteed tomorrow, because you're not. But it's the same time, at 33, you don't expect something like that to happen to you. So it's definitely, like I said, put a new spin on my life. As far as remnants from that, I don't have a whole lot, thankfully. I still get tired very easy. My vision's still not 100% right, but for the most part, I've recovered. I did complete that second half marathon that I talked about in the other video, I did have to walk it because the neurologist hadn't released me to run yet, but he has now, so I've started running again. I was never fast. I've never been fast, but I'm still not where I was then. I haven't even gotten to the point where I can run a full 5K without stopping, but I have signed up for a triathlon. It's a sprint triathlon. It's the Run for God in Dalton, Georgia on July the 25th. It's kind of different for me. I don't know how prepared that I am for it, but I'm sure I'll do fine. And anything for me is going to be a personal record because I've never done one before. It is a 300-meter swim, 12-mile bike, and 2-mile run, which I have no doubts in my mind that I can complete all of that. It's just doing them all at the same time that kind of makes me a little nervous. But like I said, at the same time, I still feel fairly certain that I'll do just fine. But anyway, like I said in the video that I post embedded in this video, I really just want to try and help other people, realize that they can do things that they never thought that they could. 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, I would have never imagined that I would be where I am now. Even with the slowdown from the stroke, I still wouldn't envision me being where I am. 10 years ago, before I lost weight, I definitely wouldn't envision me being here because it was, a totally different ball game for me. It's funny now, like, while I was out with the stroke, I couldn't run, so I couldn't do my Zumba that I normally do. I couldn't do anything like high impact aerobic that I've gotten used to. Well, I went back to walking, and I would try to walk every single day, and I felt like I was doing nothing. But I always have to remind myself that 10 years ago when I lost weight, that's how I lost weight, was I didn't do any kind of aerobic. All I did was walk, and I tried to watch what I was eating, but as far as physical, I didn't do anything but walk. And now, in my mind, sometimes I have to, if all I can do is walk, I have to stop and be like, you're still doing something good for you, even though you're not necessarily breaking that sweat and heartbeat pounding and all of that. You're still doing something good for you. So it's not always about being the best at something. It's about being better than you were yesterday. And one of my favorite quotes, and what I tell people, when we're exercising, is to get stronger, you have to push against something stronger than you. And that's not something that I came up with myself. I read it somewhere, but I love that because you're never going to become a better runner if you stop when it starts getting difficult. You're never going to be able to lift something heavier if you stop when it gets difficult. It's when it gets difficult that you are getting stronger. So I think that's, probably part of the reason why God brought this stroke into my life, is to remind me that difficult times make you stronger. I just want to start doing these videos to help people realize that you can come from somewhere and be better than you were yesterday, and that's the most important thing, is being better than you were yesterday. As far as races go, I haven't signed up for very much. I haven't signed up for any more races with the exception of the triathlon, but I have come to the decision that I am going to try to do the Disney Princess Half Marathon in February, so I'm sure a lot of these videos that I post will be geared toward my training and stuff for that. I may do the Glass Slipper Challenge, which is the 10K and the half marathon. I haven't decided for sure. I know I've got to make up my mind because registration is next week and those races sell out pretty fast. But either way, I'm going to do the half marathon. I feel fairly certain. So anybody who wants to follow me on that journey to the half marathon, I'm going to try to keep videos posted. Also, on top of the running, I'm going to try and put some other things that are important to me in there. Like, I love to sew, I love crafts. There are certain TV shows that I'm really into, so I may try and do little reviews of them, maybe even gear-wise for races and things like that, because I've had a tough time with the sprint triathlon, having never done a triathlon before, just trying to figure out what I need, if it's something that I have that'll work, or if I need to buy something for it.